Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Board of County Commissioners meeting for August 24th, 2021. If you would all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, gentlemen, the first thing on our agenda are the minutes. Do you have any additions, corrections, or what is your pleasure?
I move we approve the minutes as presented for both the work session and the regular meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of Commissioners, Montezuma County, for August 17th. And that's all there is. We didn't have a agenda last week. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next we have planning. Mr. Haley, would you?
Good morning, how are you guys?
Morning.
Good morning.
And we have Mr. Carl Chiodo on the Zoom call as well. We reviewed his variance setback application last week. He's got some new dimensions, measurements, and we would like to address that with you.
Okay.
So he is able to obtain the 30-foot setback from Road 37 for the new shop garage structure. That puts that distance 69 feet back from the overflow channel of the Dolores River. And then the addition is still the 81 feet setback to the existing grandfathered-in cabin. He has pictures there that, we'll go back up, Shak. Picture there showing the elevation rise from the river up to that bench where the cabin is and the proposed new shop and garage. And then he has an additional picture that
It looks like it might be deeper there than it is in here.
So the 81 feet, is that coming to the back where he's standing? Is that what that shows?
the road, yeah, see the red horse trailer there?
Yeah.
That is up on the bench where the cabin and the new proposed shop and garage would go.
Okay.
There's another picture that shows that's the depression area that's back behind where he wants to put the garage. That's kind of prevents him from moving it further back away from the river, because then he gets into the lowland drainage and everything in that area. And that's Road 37. That's the red horse trailer that you were seeing in the back of the
So the
elevation
depression
picture.
was on the top left-hand corner, correct?
Correct.
And that's the 81 feet from the overflow?
Correct, to where would be the east edge of it'd be the west edge of the addition to the cabin.
Correct. So the real variant, well, actually, it's for both of them, right?
Correct.
The cabin and the garage is the 69 feet to the garage.
Mm-hmm.
The cabin, it's already grandfathered in though.
Right, yeah, it was built in early, or first part of '98 before the code was adopted.
Where's the septic, Don?
It's to the east of the existing cabin.
Okay.
And that would
Be further back
pre-existing-
from the river.
Yeah, it could be
Okay.
100 feet back, easy.
And he's on the line if you guys have any questions for him, or if there's anything he'd like to add.
Yeah, let's just see if he can add anything. He can probably hear you, Shaq, but not us.
He should be able to hear all of you.
Mr. Chiodo, would you like to add anything?
He's muted right now.
I can unmute him or ask him to unmute anyway.
Would
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I think Mr. Haley covered it pretty good for me. Unless you guys have any questions, we can definitely work with the 30-foot setback off of the road. If you have any other questions about specifics, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
So that depression, just looking at it from the photos, it looks like it was created as a borrow area. What was that borrow for?
That was like that when we got the land, that depression area to the east of the proposed building site. It's just speculation on our part that maybe water flowed through there at some point. We really don't know. We've had the land since '94, and no water's ever flowed through there. But we didn't dig it out. That was natural to the land, the best we could tell when we purchased it.
Was it just a drive down to the water? Or
I'm sorry?
not the water, to the back of the property?
It was just a depression. It never had water in it. It just looked like perhaps it had been eroded or created by water at one time. We really don't know.
Okay.
I don't either.
I know if you look at the floodplain map that Mr. Haley sent out, that it shows it on there. I don't think it shows it as big as it is, but it shows that depression wrapping around that way.
Anything else from planning?
No.
Okay. I move we approve the variance application submitted by Carl Chiodo and Lynn Hill, lot number 9 of the Four Corners Encampment Subdivision, located at 24850 Road 37, Dolores.
I'll second it.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded to accept the proposed variance application submitted by Carl Chiodo and Lynn Hill on lot number 9 of the Four Corners Encampment Subdivision located at 24850 Road 37, Dolores, Colorado. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
All right, thank you. And we will get those dimensions on the variance document, and we can bring that back in and get signature on it. I guess all we need is yours, Jim.
okay. Sounds good.
Then item number 3 on our agenda, we did not receive that plat, so we can strike that off. So all we have left is the previously approved plat from Terry and Larry Pickens on their subdivision.
So we just need to sign that.
Correct.
Okay.
Short and sweet today.
It's gonna be way too easy.
we need to get those signed? Oh. Guess that's all we got, unless you have something for us.
Way too easy.
Nothing? Letters have all been sent out to all the appropriate people. We're still,
All that.
Yeah, there, had a couple of phone calls on some properties, but, so far nothing new or outstanding unless you come up with some other parcels that we need to address.
okay,
All right, thank you.
sounds good, thank you. Okay. Next we have our public comment session. The Board of County Commissioners welcomes you to this meeting. Persons speaking during public comment will be limited to 3 minutes, or depending on the number of people wishing to speak, it may be reduced to allow all members of the public the opportunity to address the board. When addressing the board, please state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments, and comments of individual supervisors or staff are not permitted, and participants may not yield their time. So at this time, we'll open up our public comment session. Okay, seeing none, we will close the public comment session, and with that, we have an executive session on our agenda, so gentlemen, would you?
I move we go into executive session for discussion of specialized details of security arrangements or investigations under CRS Section 24-6-402, parentheses 4, parentheses D.
I'll second it.
Are there any other names I need to include in this one? I'll be just ask that.
So it'll be Liz Richard, Cynthia Eldridge, Justin McGuire, and Sheriff Nowlin. I'll be calling on the phone.
Okay.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to go into executive session for the discussion of specialized details of security arrangements or investigations under CRS Section 24-6-402, parentheses 4, parentheses D. Included in the executive session will be our clerk, Kim Purcell, Commissioner Stevenson, Candelaria, Lindsay, Attorney McLaren, Administrator Powers, and we will have Liz Richards, Cynthia Eldridge, Justin McGuire, and Sheriff Nowlin. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You get that, Kim?
We're going to go in our office.
complete open. And this bear walked 7 steps from it. And she had her somebody, she's sitting there in her pack, and that bear was oblivious. So it goes all the way down, and you know, I knew he was victim with that big old lumber like that, you know? And I'm sitting there like, she's like, hi. And I'm trying not to laugh, and I'm like, and she goes, hi. And I'm like, yes. And then she looks over, and she goes over there. And it's drinking, you know, and I'm thinking, you better shoot, because he's not going to stay there. And I'm thinking, better shoot. And then she got, you know, I knew it was a good hit, because he was right by the water, and he didn't come out there fast. So he picked up, looked at her, because he looked at where the sound came from, and turned around and ran off. And she goes, oh, wow. She goes, I missed it. I said, no, you can't. And she goes, otherwise the boat will hit the water. And she's like, no, I missed it. I said, no, you got it. And so I said, well, let's walk over there. I pulled it in the morning, you know. And we get across the pond. And she's like, you gotta wait 30 minutes. That's what they said. And I said, not even 30 minutes. It's gonna be dark. And we ain't looking for it tonight. And I said, really rather tell it to me. And so we found a spot of blood, and then 15 yards back in the city. Right over there. There's 4 of us that looked at them. I never picked one up. This is all. Oh, man. Yeah, I was definitely, that's for sure. So, you know, a couple people at the campfire heard the shot and picked out and told them. So then they leave. Terrible. And so we're sitting there in the line room, trying to pull that machine out. Every time, you know, every report on the, I had to put 3 or 4 away from the computer down there. But I've never seen one before, a rug. And man, I mean, we had it on the ground at the state. And we would get done, you know, blowing it out, scanning it out. I remember at 2 o'clock in the morning, so like the plane, she couldn't cut any more than 2 seconds.
So you take extra care.
Yeah, you know, getting the wrist out so you can save the pad and each one of those take a half hour. I mean, trying to get in there without touching first. But, so still don't have a factor. Like everything. But we said the other side was in last week, so it was all from the first 2 days. She was 3/8 of an inch off with the truck. And you know, there was a star on it, he didn't sink. And the meat was really, really, I was really surprised because I figured, you know, how she calls and stuff and something. And that's what snow is, you know. I think some of the years for it, there was a real long. He's been there, he's got about 5 years away. Did that, you know, no way. Even though we're watching this round, but we saw the same thing. And there's 5 of them coming into the thing, and that one was long, she's kind of long, real life, so yeah. Oh, okay, good. Well, you're gonna be busy on Saturday, I'll tell you that. I'm talking. Party language. You're going to have it last year. So, 101 years ago. Yeah, we were worried that So anyway, I grabbed one, I got some coffee, but we picked it up from the ground. People were cutting the wing last night. Well, doesn't everybody want to do it on night? Yeah. I thought he was going to do that. But they've been real good to us, real good. Worked all before, all that. But I invited all the first responders. Yeah, we talked. Yeah, we can make, fire department. Not for the job. I thought it was all, we do all the time. Pick up that, put that, back to it. Probably used for well, they need to spend. You know what, I would say, there's been a real positive change. Drew's doing a good job of kind of steering it. I really like him. I'm hoping that I don't know anything. Yeah, you know, it's a third grade the other day, my wife, of course, and actually, the people are calling too, one for Nancy. So we really need to she volunteered to go, and then Drew walked by, got wrapped in, awesome, and we just take over. So I introduced those two, we're trying to get them to tell them. Jim walked up, so, do a formal offer. So I think she's been really good. Her first day, she got a staff meeting. In fact, very rarely do they do anything on that. Only what my wife says. Not orientation, but also development.
Help yourself.
Good to go, Shaq?
Okay, gentlemen.
We're live, okay.
I would move that we come out of our executive session.
Second.
Been moving and seconded to exit our executive session and go back into our regular board meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the next we have is our assessor to present the preliminary assessed
And
values.
she's
which-
not here today, so
She is not
strike
here,
that.
so we are going to
Okay.
bypass that and go on to backside of the page, which would be farmer's telephone. Mr. Hines, could you come forward? You can sit, stand, whichever you'd like.
Okay.
Nope.
So the red, okay.
There we go.
So I saw a red light, I punched it, and I'm like, okay. So anyway, I'm going to make this really short and sweet. We kind of went down this avenue with the fiber probably October, actually, I think last year. So we're about ready to start splicing. Wanted to see if we couldn't get an agreement kind of going. I do know that the city's starting to approach a couple of the businesses out there. So I would really like to see if we can work out an agreement and get access to some of those fibers so we can start expanding broadband out we're ready to tie in at Sligo and 7th.
So
And then all the
my
way back through.
understanding, and I'll let the attorney cut me off if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that the county is going to contract with somebody to manage the fiber. We haven't signed any contracts yet, but when that happens, all the providers will have to make their arrangements with them. Is that correct, Ian?
Yep, that's exactly how it'll work.
Okay. Well, we certainly have the ability to maintain that fiber, do locates on it, do any emergency repairs, and do all the splicing. So I would like to offer that up in exchange for use of the fiber. So we have the splicing trailers, and I have all but one of my technicians trained in the restoral and actually the splicing and whatnot. We've been doing it for, close to 40 years, so we're pretty good at it. And we have an excellent reputation in the county, and every day we're adding more customers, and more than we have in the past 20 years.
Any other questions?
No.
I've got a question. How do you push light through a tube full of glass in the dark?
The same way you do it during the day with a laser.
Okay. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I think it's voodoo, and it's a little bit concerning.
Well, if you're willing, I would be happy to teach you how to light that fiber up and do some splicing. Come on down.
All right.
We'd love to see you.
Sounds good.
So, I got one question for you.
I was going to say, I had a question. Do you have some type of a proposal that you were?
Well, when we originally kind of talked about it, it was talk that we were going to do this, and then, we really never got anywhere. And so I don't have a proposal. I can put one together. But when you guys kind of started working with the city, the plans kind of changed, and I didn't have access to the fiber because we were actually in this building. Originally, we were going to go down 7th, is what we discussed, and then hit or come from here to 7th, and then go out. Well, that's not the way the fiber was run. So what I did is, I had one of the contractors approach me to light up his neighborhood because he couldn't get any traction with the incumbent phone company here. So I went ahead and put a tower out there. We've also got fiber in, or not fiber in, but I'm ready to pull it in, but we have conduits all the way down from 7th and Sligo all the way down to Tri-State as well. So, that can be really quick once we come to an agreement. But I wasn't really sure how we were going to do it. I made a couple of phone calls and really never got traction. And, talking with you guys wanted me to get up here in front of you, so here I am. But, you know, I can put that all down pen to paper, and I can have that as quick as the end of the week.
Yeah, I would think anything that,
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a proposal that you want to present, it would all have to be obviously on a piece of paper that we would have to look at.
Yeah, I was originally told that we had an allocation of 144 fibers, and I just assumed that that was kind of a done deal, but that's a problem, you know, my problem altogether.
Well, any allocations will be between whoever we decide to manage the fiber and.
Yeah, well, we had originally talked that CDOT was going to get some, and then we were going to have, the Ute Tribe was going to get so many, and then, you know, Region 9 or the Southwest COG was going to have so many, and then we were going to have so many as well, but I never got an agreement, and I had called a couple of times about an agreement, and then I talked to Mr. Lindsay about it, and then he told me to just come up and have a chat with you guys, so here I am.
Yeah, if you'll get that agreement, you know, your proposal, not an agreement, but your proposal together, we'd be glad to take a look at it.
Yeah, I would ask if maybe we could kind of try and fast track it if I'm the guy you pick, because, you know, the city is already selling services on that fiber, or trying to. Circle Z was approached the other day as well. Told them they were ready for them, ready to splice today.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, not at this time.
Ian?
No, nothing additional, just any proposal you've got, if it's the quicker the better.
Okay. Well, I can have something by the end of the week, and I can present it to Shak, and then hopefully maybe we can get on the next agenda, and if it is approved through lawyerese, maybe we can get moving pretty quick.
I'm sorry, did you put lawyers and pretty quick in the same sentence?
I did. Well, he's new. I figured maybe we could kind of help steer him a little bit, but I haven't met you yet, but I'm Terry. Nice to meet you.
Okay,
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time, and I'll get something to you guys by the end of the week.
all right.
Thank you, Terry.
All right. You guys have a wonderful day.
You too.
Off or on?
Saves batteries that way.
Okay, next we have our public service. We have Mr. Retiree Torres. Come on down for your last time, along with,
Give him his last hoorah here.
Hoorah!
and Sarah, along with your replacement.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sir.
Torres, I am the outgoing County Veteran Service Officer.
I don't know about that.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rick Torres. I am the outgoing County VSO, and I am lucky to have our incoming County VSO, Sarah, with us today.
You
It's
will-
kinda- it's
you
kinda
will leave
weird.
her your number.
Pardon me?
You will leave her your number.
Yes. So many people have my number.
So just so everybody in the audience knows, it's 867-5309.
I go by the name of Jenny. Well, bittersweet, but I will give you my final report for last month, the month of July, our activities, and then I'll probably go into some recap of the last 8 years that I've been with the county and what Sarah and I have been able to accomplish all these years. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and report to the commissioners that our monthly report that has to be provided to the state office was submitted. It went in on, I think, July 2nd. Let's take a look. What day did that go in? I'm sorry, August 2nd. It was reported to the state of Colorado, and that ensures that we continue to receive our disbursements twice a year. I'll just use Shaq slides. I'd like to report last month's financial activity, salaries a little over 7,000, fringe benefits just under 2,000, operating expenses, public outreach, that was for radio ads and the VFW. I partnered with them to do the veteran stand down next month, so we'll throw in a quick plug for them. Next month, September 18th, from what is it, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. or 3:30. We'll have the stand down. Many of you were there last year. And so I'd love to see everybody out there. Please come out and support the veterans groups. For veterans and their widows, find out what's available out there for you. With that said, we didn't spend anything on dues, training, or travel last month, the vehicle, and we did spend $80 for the cell phone reimbursement for a total of $13,542 and 19 cents. Now, our in-office activity with clients and visitors, as you know, I've always liked to compare the previous year just to gauge how we're doing this year when I compare it to the previous year. In July of 2020, which was during the COVID, we had 137 visitors. Last month, we had 119 visitors. It was a decrease of 18 coming through the office when I compare it to the previous year. Total of clients that we've assisted July in 2021, if I include all the phone calls, the visitors, the outreach, it was 533 people we assisted last month. We had 7 new clients come through our office. Year to date, we've had 38 new folks come through our office. We did not do any house visits or nursing homes. There was 4 outreach events, and together we filed 14 claims last month. Next slide. Yeah, I wanted to bring you guys up to speed on this. As you know, every month I'd give you a report on how our monthly income was happening or what notifications we were getting from the VA. But a lot of the data when I report our income is because I go in and look for it. And so what's happened is on July 4th, my card expired that allows me to get into the VA computers. I went to activate it, but they wanted me to go all the way to Lakewood. Knowing that I was going to retire, I was not going to go to Lakewood to get the ID card. So there may be a delay in you guys getting our monthly income from the VA benefit claims. Sarah is in the process of getting her card. Once she gets her card, then we have to physically go in and look for the wins and the denials. So there'll be a few months when there'll be probably no reporting on how much actually earnings and dollars.
How long does it take to get your card?
I started the process in July. The training, all of that, they send you through hours and hours of training, setting up with a VA email, and then I have to physically go up and apply for the card and then get it activated. I can't physically go up there until the end of September, and I'll be going to Grand Junction. Then they send the card and I get it activated locally. And they've changed the process. They went from like a VA issued card to a USA Access, which is a federal thing. So a little bit more stringent, a little bit more time and more training involved with that.
October maybe?
October, beginning of November at the latest, I would say.
Yeah, to be safe, I would say, but before the end of the year, she should have it. She's already done all her accreditation. She's a fully accredited service officer. And having the card to get into the VA computers, quite frankly, it's never been a job requirement. It's one of the things that I like to do because I'm a control freak and I like to see how the claims are going. I can see things before they happen and then contact the clients and say, hey, you've got an exam coming up. I can see what went wrong with exams. So it's kind of like you get the intel. You can see behind the scenes what they're doing. It's a good tool to have. It's not mandatory. Once you have it, it's like you appreciate it. But the good thing about that is if we didn't have it and I go in or Sarah goes in and pull the data, you have to wait till the VA compiles all the data for 2020, 2021, and you get it like a year or two later. So the stats that we have today from VA are probably from 2019. I mean, we could report that, but, you know, I like real time. I like,
Sure.
you know, like I said, I'm a control freak. So anyway, where were we? So normally right here is where I would report the actual dollars of how many. I do know so far we had 4 clients at the time that I did this report that won their claims. I checked this morning, there was a 5th one. So I can't give you the data. The only way I could get the dollars that they won and the ones that would have lost is if they, and we tell them when you get a decision, let us know, but they don't always tell us, you know. So if they bring us the letters, we can extrapolate the data, but I got a feeling we'd be giving you inaccurate data. So I'd rather just not report it. What good does it do to tell you we had 4 claims, these 4 people won a combined total of $10,000, but really, if I got into the VA, 12 people won, and those 12 people combined are bringing in $10,000 a month. That's the good data. I mean, that's what I'd rather report. So rather than sit here and give you, you know, hey, we have four people that won claims, only one of them brought me the letter, I can tell you that one person won $100 a month, you know, it's kind of a waste of time, I think. So until Sarah gets up and running fully and accessing VA computers, she could either omit these slides, which is probably what I would do, but she'll be in charge, she can do what she wants. But I'm just giving you a heads up. You're not going to have accurate data from us because it's going to be harder to get from the VA. Next slide. We already mentioned that Rick is retiring at the end of the month. I gave Shak a month's notice. He was sad to see me go.
I was not the only one that's sad to see you go.
I was joking. But now I'd like to recap a little bit of what we've been able to do from 2013, but a little bit of background real quick. What happened was, in the county, there was a part-time VSO here. The gentleman did a great job for the capabilities that he had. It was part-time. It was only maybe 2 to 3 hours a day, maybe 3 days a week, so it was minimal hours. Then the Veterans Service Organizations petitioned the commissioners for a full-time VSO. So let's fast forward. Here we are. You have a full-time VSO. Let's talk about what we've been able to accomplish from 2013 to the present. Where are we at? No, I think you have, yeah, here we go. We were able to add 1 full-time county VSO, and that would be me. Since we got here, we instituted a secured network file system with the help of the IT department. What I told them is, I want a network file system that no one else can access, the commissioners, nobody can get into it except IT people, because they get into them, and myself. And that's what we have. We have a backup system internally, and like I said, I'm a control freak. Everything is scanned here locally in case something happens in a computer somewhere else. And IT, I think they update, how do you call that? Back them up? Or they save the data all periodically. Another thing that we did, we added a part-time VSO in 2014. That'd be Sarah. Another thing that we did was we digitized over 10,000, it was between 10 and 20,000 pages. The gentleman before me kept paper, and there's nothing wrong with paper, but paper can get wet, paper can get burned, paper can't be backed up. So we digitized everything, and it's on the secure network drive. On a side note, everything that we have here locally that we create, it's in 2 other places. It's in the state of Colorado database, and it's in the VA database. So there's 3 backup places where documents are stored. We created a mission statement. Every organization obviously should have a mission statement so we know why we do and what it is we want to do. Pre-COVID, we averaged a little over 2,000 visitors coming through that office a year. A lot of them were repeat customers, but what that is, though, is when you're working somebody's claim, you don't just fire off a claim and forget about it. There's ongoing maintenance. So we had over 2,000 people a month coming through our office pre-COVID. We talked about the internal backup systems, again, control freak. We created new partnerships, strengthened existing ones with outside agencies, non-for-profits, the DAV, VFW, American Legion, the Bridge Shelter, Opinion Project, you name it. If they're in our community or in the Four Corners, and even outside the Four Corners, we have relationships with them, and we partner to help our veterans and the widows. Next slide, here we go. I brief the commissioners on this every year, that we would go to annual training and certification testing so that we can remain with the county as fully accredited. We started an advertising campaign to include Facebook, radio ads, radio interviews, banners. You've seen them at the fairgrounds. I mean, they're everywhere. T-shirts, hats, you name it. We have a footprint in the community somewhere, maybe outside this community. We had with the help of the sheriff's office, we added the outreach vehicle so that people can see us going down the street or just in the parking lot, and they can find us. statistically, annually, we've brought in over $2 million. Usually it's $2.2 million in new income to the county every year from the claims that have been awarded. We added a part-time PSO, or VSO as previously stated, and we brought her on full-time, and now she's going to be the full-time VSO. Before we go into any questions the commissioners might have, I did want to make some final acknowledgements. I want to thank the county commissioners for your leadership, your guidance, and most importantly, your support all these years. When I came in here, I told the commissioners what I wanted and what I needed to make the office a success. They heard me out, they supported me, and here's where we are today. You guys always had the right to say, I think Torres is crazy, and you still may say that. But you heard me out, the previous commissioners heard me out, and they were very supportive. And the only one that helped was help make our job easier, but it helped the veterans and the widows. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing that. You guys are pro-veteran, and a lot of leadership out there is not throughout the country. Anyway, I want to thank my fellow county employees. I'm not going to name them by, I'll just say all these departments that have helped us become a success, whether it's IT, the clerk's office. Everybody has touched our veterans, and I want to thank all my fellow county employees for that. There's just too many of you to name. But you know who y'all are. I want to thank Sarah Kuhn and John Johnson. John was with us part-time for a period, and having 3 employees between 3 of us was very helpful. And again, it enabled me not to pull my hair out when we have the support that I needed to get the job done. And I'm confident that the leadership here will continue to see that it is imperative that the people doing the work have the support that they need to help the public. And I thank Sarah and John for doing that. I want to thank the DAV, the VFW, the American Legion commanders and their members. I want to thank our local non-for-profits. A lot of them do the things that we don't do and we don't want to do. They're the experts. We let them do it. I don't try to take on their jobs. I want to thank the Colorado Division of Veteran Affairs and the interim director, Joanne Iglesias, again for her leadership, counsel, and advice as she's up at the state office now. And the most important people I need to thank is my wife, Betty, my son, Eric, and my granddaughter, Lily. As I embark on this full-time RV journey, I may have to come back when I drive my wife nuts. Well, we'll see what happens. Are there any questions?
No, just a big thank you.
So Rick, with that in mind, I love your RV there yet, and from the commissioners, we have a token we'd like to present you with in honor of your service. Commissioners, you want to get a picture with him?
What was that movie where they go off the cliff, the 2 ladies? Yeah, there it is, Thelma and Louise, right?
Did you actually ask your wife prior to retiring?
I consulted.
She told him.
I consulted with her.
And across the top, it says there, home is where you park it. Thank you for serving the vets of Montezuma County, 5/6/2013 to 8/31/2021.
That's freaking awesome.
And on the side, Rick and Betty. Yeah, so let's get some.
Thank you, guys.
Let's get some pictures of each other.
That's funny. Thank you, guys.
I suggest you watch the movie RV.
Chairman, do you want to hand it?
Oh, boy. All right, here you go.
The photographers can out.
Yeah,
Oh, they're not, there you go.
there we go. Squeeze in.
Is that the name of the RV?
Just squeeze in.
Thank you, everyone.
This is at night when your wife kicks you out of the
Parking lot. I will.
Do you have a little dog you can chase with that?
I'll find one. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you so much, Rick. Oh, yeah, let's get them the bodies.
And it's got the charger in it.
Congrats.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoy.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Rick.
Good luck.
Thanks, everyone.
Enjoy everything.
I'll be back.
I hope so.
Okay.
Never changed it on
Um,
YouTube.
Gonna miss that guy. He's done a lot for this community, for our veterans, and I think we have a good new hire, and she was obviously trained by Rick, and I think everything is gonna continue to run smoothly, and we'll keep going down the road. So, again, one more last thank you to Rick, and congratulations to Sarah on her new position. Okay, next we're gonna go to Social Services. Miss Montoya and Miss Higgins, would you come on down?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I turned it on. Can you hear me? Bless you.
First off, I'd like to move that we accept the record of proceedings for our meeting on Tuesday, July 27th, 2021.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the records of proceedings for the Montezuma County Board of Social Services for Tuesday, July 27th, 2021. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Secondly, you want to look at the payables?
Anybody have any questions or anything on the payables?
I have-
Sure. What's
Okay.
coming up with EBT?
Well, there's going to be an increase of, it's going up to 21%, but they were 15% prior, so it's actually a 6% increase. So if you add the 15 and the 6, it's a 21% of increase on food, on SNAP.
Is that a temporary increase or is that a? what is
That's going to be ongoing until we hear otherwise from healthcare policy and finance. And say, for instance, you're a household member of one and you're receiving food stamps, say $200, you'll get a 21% increase of the $200, which is over $40, plus your $95 extra due to COVID. And that's still ongoing as far as I know, and I don't know when that will end. They say maybe December and maybe not. So folks will be getting an increase.
Do you guys know where we're at on evictions? The eviction policy that was, some say it went out, some people say it went back in. I mean,
I thought it was coming back. I'm not sure.
But I can't catch any direction.
I can find out for you, Commissioner
Okay.
Lindsay, and I can send you all what I know from the state. But I haven't heard anything recently. I did attend a directors regional meeting in Ridgeway on Friday all day and met with all the regional directors. We have one director in Delta who's retiring, and we had a good meeting. We talked about the MAP dashboard that you all get via an email from HICPUF. I don't want you guys to worry about that right now because it hasn't been completely, let's just say it's still incomplete. They're still working on it. So the directors are saying, you know, why are you sending it to us when it hasn't been completed? It needs to be completed. And at that point in time, it's really hard to go through the weeds on that MAP dashboard. I don't know if you've looked at it or not. You know, we want to look at our timeliness in applications and redeterminations for benefits, and that's what that MAP dashboard is all about. Once I get more information, I will share it with all of you on that, but I don't want you to spend a whole lot of time with that MAP dashboard because the directors, from what I'm hearing and what I have seen in that MAP dashboard, is that first of all, it's not complete. It doesn't summarize the case numbers or whether there are trends. Say, for instance, if one worker is having problems in getting their applications done timely, it doesn't summarize that for us. So it's kind of hard for you guys to get an email coming from healthcare policy and finance and the dashboard isn't completed. So we had some issues around that information sharing with our Board of Commissioners. So I just wanted to let you know that too. And we've been working on our budget, et cetera, so we'll be prepared to give you that in, I believe, Shak, that's for next month, in September. And I also want to thank the county commissioners for the request that I made for the fraud investigator position and the case aid visitation worker, that you approved it, and I thank you very much for that. Our department needed those two positions, so I just wanted to acknowledge that today. What else did you want to know, Shak?
No, that's, I think we'll finish this business here.
Okay.
Like,
I move we approve the financials and payments for Montezuma County Department of Social Services in the amount of $1,470,440.64.
I'll second it.
it's been moved and seconded to accept the payables for the month of July for the Montezuma County Department of Social Services in the amount of $1,470,440.64. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I just wanted to note that we received $10,000 from the Elder Justice Act. I think you are aware of that act, and it went to APS. And so far, we still have $9,000 left in that pot from COVID, and anything, it could be spent on anything COVID related. And there's supposed to be more coming to APS in the coming months for round 2 and round 3. And the state's trying to decide how APS can spend those monies. And I'm hoping that they'll open it up to client services needs. And hopefully we can use those monies, because currently we can't use APS monies for client services needs, and that's a big issue. Is that right, Lori? So we're all pro client services. If we have extra funding, we'd like to spend it on clients who need it, based on what their needs are.
So they give you money to not spend on the clients. What are you supposed to allegedly?
Not on client services. No, we don't. We make referrals in terms of adult protection. And a lot of people say, well, what do you provide for adults who are in our system? And basically, we go out on investigations, and we would make referrals to, like, community connections, mental health, recovery center, et cetera, housing. But we're not actually providing therapeutic services to those adults. That's not what adult protection is all about. And it's kind of hard to spend the money if they don't let us spend it for client services. And the only thing I could think of is, since we have a monthly meeting and it was virtual, that I would spend it on an OWL, which basically does the 360 and helps us identify who's speaking during a virtual meeting, and it picks up the sound, and therefore we spent $1,000 on just an OWL system when we had those virtual meetings. So I'm just trying to think what else we can spend it on. At the regional director meeting, we were thinking, and I'm thinking too, is that we need a physician to help us with those physical findings when we go out on an adult protection case. Sometimes we need a doctor, a physician, who can look at the injuries and could be able to identify what's going on with the client, number one, and be able to testify in court if need be. Right now, we have a volunteer physician, and she helps us, and that's on a voluntary basis, and she's retired. And I'm also going to need a backup. So I'm thinking of using the Elder Justice Act funds to reimburse those physicians that we often call on when we're having those difficult cases to investigate that have physical injuries.
And I can speak to that too. We've had some
Thank you.
protection cases where physicians have been involved, and that's super helpful. I mean, when we're talking about potentially taking guardianship of an at-risk adult, I think that would be so beneficial, certainly from a legal perspective, to have a doctor who can do that evaluation, go in, and then testify in court. And certainly, you know, talking about expert witness fees, those can be really high.
Yes.
So having somebody prepared to do that would be a huge asset, for sure.
And that's what I recommended at the regional director meeting, because working with Crystal, our supervisor of adult protection, you know, it's good to have one doc available who does it voluntarily, but if we could actually pay somebody and be able to call on that person at any time of the night and day, that's a good thing for us, and we need that.
How often, well, I guess you couldn't say what's going to happen in the future, but have there been times in the past where you could have utilized a doctor for child protection as well as adult protection?
We do utilize a doctor, and they do forensic interviews, and there is a net care doctor that we utilize. And we also got the, a nurse practitioner who is trained to do this kind of stuff too through the N.M.P Center. And I think that's a good thing that the N.M.P Center is starting to do that. So I made a referral for a nurse practitioner to go and get trained, which she did in May. And she is another person that we can call on to do these kinds of examinations, et cetera.
And in my experience, we always had really good access to physicians for the child protection cases and got really solid reports. I think it was sometimes more challenging in the adult protection realm, especially because oftentimes in the adult protection realm, you're not only dealing with physical injuries, but sometimes dementia and those sorts of things. And so, you know, when it comes to that kind of thing, it's really difficult for a caseworker to get up on stand and make judgment calls about an individual's capacity to make decisions for themselves or to self-protect. And so certainly having a physician that would be able to do that would be a huge asset for the adult protection.
And then it wouldn't be just a volunteer. You could actually have
correct.
something to take care of the services for them.
I'm going to say something slightly out of the box here, but it might go together. You know, Dr. Aiken let us know at the last Board of Health that he intends to step down by January. Would it make sense to get a 2-for-1 and ask that the next public health physician also be available for social services in that regard?
That is an excellent recommendation.
That would be a challenge, though. I mean,
Yeah, because
I was
I think
thinking,
they're pretty stretched.
I was thinking more of getting Dr. Aiken on board on being our second physician since he's retiring, or getting a doc who's retired who wants to do this and for the community. But that can be a recommendation as well.
And I've got another idea, but this one's way outside the box. But I'm going to go there anyway because that's what I do.
you want a grant to go to medical school, is that it?
Oh, no. That would be a horrible idea. That's one of the worst ideas I've heard yet. But, you know, we're projecting another increase in our benefits as it is. We pay above $10,000, almost $11,000 per employee per year for health insurance. And then all of them have a $2,500 to $5,000 deductible depending on what they choose. And at some point, rather than following the government's mandates that everybody has to buy this health insurance, it may make more sense to just hire a doctor for our employees. I know that's way off topic. You don't have to answer that. Take some time to think about it.
We're not going to answer that
Private
because
clinic.
I don't think you would, you could hire that many specialists for the, anyway. We'll let that one
And
go
speaking
down the
to
road.
Ian's point in terms of having social workers go in and testify as they're not experts in the medical field.
I get it. I understand that. I don't think that would be a bad thing. Basically, if that's coming from your group of directors, that, we'll see if that decision is made in favor of that.
And Gina, the one thing I would be sure is, as you look for somebody, especially in the adult protection realm, find somebody who's really well schooled in evaluating capacity, because that's something that we consistently deal with in the adult protection realm. And it's not something that, in my experience, every emergency room physician has been able to just make a real quick judgment. It's got to be somebody who has some experience with assessing capacity.
Will do.
I was in Montrose Friday, so I was 40 miles farther than you.
I was in Uray and Ridgeway, beautiful country, but a lot of rain, a lot of mud. but
I was in Idaho. I was further than both of you.
Yeah, well, we were working. Anything else?
Welcome back from outer space.
no, that's it
That's it.
for now.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you.
And so, Commissioners, Jonathan Parker is on the phone dealing with the, Commissioners, Jonathan Parker is on the phone dealing with grants. He said if he can get over here before 11:30, he will. If not, just move on and have the rest of the agenda without him.
Okay. Well, we'll skip him for right now, and we'll go to, I see Mr. Felson in the back. So our CSU extension. Greg.
Morning, Greg.
I first wanted to start out and just recap last month's county fair, and I thought it went excellent. So I have big thank yous to my staff, Andrea Jeter and Vanessa Malloy in the Extension office, our two county interns as well too. I want to thank Justin out at the fairgrounds and his staff. And then the fair board itself, that I think, every year you improve on little things here and there, but overall it was a great success. The livestock sale reached a big high with $275,000 at the livestock sale this year. So a big thank you again to our community partners, our sponsors, for purchasing animals, supporting our youth in the 4-H and FFA program. Achieved some great highs this year, but then also that money a lot of times goes for further education, higher education, and then supporting our feed stores to agriculture here in Montezuma County. So new enrollment for 4-H will start in mid-October. And so right now, just I brought projects up to the state fair last week, and we'll go back up after the Labor Day holiday to pick up state fair projects that our Montezuma County kids have up there. So great summer, great year, and I think it'll only get better in years to come.
Okay, how many kids do we have involved?
Last I knew, it was on to that close to 200,
200?
around that mark. Yep, on to that end.
You know,
And it was
something
great
else-
that there was a lot of people out at County Fair too. I set up a tent, and so when Andrea and Vanessa are super busy doing logistical stuff, I could talk to a lot of families and interested people in the community about not only our 4-H youth development program, but all the different things Extension offers as well too.
Something else, Greg.
Yep.
I don't think that most people know that 4-H is not just for our agricultural community and those kids. We did our video on Wednesday with Andrea, and that's something that I'd really like to highlight and get that education out there. Just because you live in the city, you're a city kid, and I'm not using that as any bad term, but
No.
there are a lot of things that are offered there to really help and get those kids to grow through 4-H. So it's not just about
Yeah.
animals and a livestock show later for county fair. Obviously, that's the extravaganza at the end of the year.
Sure.
However, there are a lot of things that all of the kids.
No, thanks for mentioning
That
that,
can
Jim.
be
It's,
brought
yeah, 4-H being a positive youth development program for all youth in our county. And I think this summer we made a concerted effort to make a partnership with the N.M.P project and particularly go to non-traditional youth, the 4-H youth programming. So in robotics or scrapbooking or gardening, and how we can really do more of an awareness that, yes, we're rooted in agriculture and always have been. However, we offer so much more in leadership and life skills development to youth and project-based learning. And I think people would be amazed to know all the different projects for each offers. And that's a great way to get involved with a community program to build those skills for lifelong learning. Yeah. But yeah, I think we'll always get that stereotype of being the rural ag program, but you're right. The more we can do to promote and educate people, that we offer so much more.
Correct, and I think it's beneficial. I mean, life skills for all of our youth is something that I think is probably lacking.
Right.
And the more that we can give them through 4-H, I mean, some people are going to get involved in sports and activities after school, some are not. But this gives them an activity that they can also participate in and get some life skills that are
Yeah,
absolutely
shooting
for life.
sports,
Shooting sports,
rocketeers, photography.
leather
Yeah.
crafting,
Woodworking.
woodworking,
So
all,
broad.
yeah.
So
That's very
broad.
broad.
I wanted to be a pie judge this year, but I didn't.
That's always the sought
We got
after
a
one
donut
for
judge
sure.
down here, but
Good. Well, that's great. Just want to talk a little bit on upcoming programs. Our food skills classes with the health department and the WIC program are starting back up. Thursday night there will be a water bathing class, followed by a pressure canning, and we're doing one more dehydrating class as well too. This Friday I'll go out to Yellow Jacket in the Orchard and work with my colleague Gus Westerman to the north in Dolores County to determine a UPIC date. We were a little nervous for sure with the, getting cut off of water so early that the fruit wasn't going to develop. However, it's looking like it's starting to develop better, and probably that last weekend in September we're shooting for right now as a UPIC event for the community out there.
Would you say that was in large part because when Chairman Candelaria came back from both DC and Tennessee, he brought rain with him?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
that's proven. Yeah,
That was a good
data
answer.
driven.
maybe you should go to New England this week.
Right. Or go in the spring next year.
Yeah, a little earlier next time.
Right. So yeah, we're gonna do that community event. I know something we're promoting is the Stockmanship and Stewardship clinic. That's gonna be Friday and Saturday south of Hesperus at the Spring Howell Ranch and Equestrian Park. Temple Grandin is gonna be the keynote speaker from CSU. So if you haven't signed up, definitely do that. And then with Jonathan, who's not here, we're going to do an aging mastery program extension with our senior services department as well too. And we're just about done with times and dates, so we're going to promote that, and that'll start up in October for a 5-week, 2 classes a week program. And then last but not least, the official announcement for the new position will be Friday, and it will run till September 20th. I want to thank Commissioner Stevenson, who's going to sit on the state hiring committee for the position. And so with it running till September 20th, I hope we get some great applicants. We're looking at interviews being around October 20th and 21st. I'm creating a local hiring committee as well too, with some of our advisory board members and other stakeholders within the community. So it's happening, and it'll go out Friday on a some local searches that we do, but then national searches from Indeed to Colorado State's website to kind of our Journal of Extension. That's a national database that looks at as well too. I'll be working with Shak next week on the extension budget so that we have all that cleared for the new position and what that looks like. But I would, you know, I kind of, well, we'll have to talk on that budget, but if this is, you know, offering position October, it's November, maybe starting that January 1 date, if not sooner, but starting the year off with another position in our office. Remember that, Shak. There's another position coming.
Roger that.
But you said another year. I mean, couldn't we get him quicker than that?
Well, it will be budgeting, to make sure that if we did, we'd have to find a way to,
So
that
assuming
formula
they could
ends.
What
start,
is your fiscal year? Is it June to July or
well, from the county side, it's January 1 to December
January
31.
1.
CSU?
CSU's is that June 30th to July 1.
So they have it in their budget already?
They would.
Yeah.
Would we have our formula, whatever that end is?
For our end of the formula, if the commission wanted that position to start earlier, you would
Yeah.
have to amend the budget.
Correct.
What? Yeah.
But since we didn't have it for 2 years, I think that the right thing to do would just be fill it for those 2 months, take care of it, and be
Take
done.
care of it.
Then we can, kind of get back. to
Right.
maybe kind of
I'll ask my
Yeah.
people on that one.
see where I'm headed.
I see exactly where you're headed.
We've been deficient for 2 years.
Not longer than 2
Yeah,
years.
12 years.
12 years.
Yeah.
Well,
But I would say that if we do interviews, like he said, at the end of October, reasonably,
by
somebody's
the
going to
time-
need 30 days. We're
should
talking
have
2 pay
somebody in there.
periods.
Yeah, we should have some.
By January.
We're
1 for
only
sure.
talking 2
Yeah.
pay
Exactly,
periods. It won't be that big of a deal.
Yeah. But that portion wouldn't be too much for a month. I mean,
be-
out of
it's gonna be
out of that
nothing.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get him here.
That's what we're working
sooner
on.
than later.
You know it. Yeah. That's the
Okay.
plan. Thank you all.
Thanks, Greg.
All right. Any
Thank you.
question? No. All good.
I don't. Okay, Jonathan is still not here, so we can jump into unfinished business. Kind of go a little bit over what we did in our work session yesterday. First of all, we had our annual tour of our jail, which again is enlightening, and every time you go in that place and actually take that tour, walk through the cells, the holding areas, it kind of opens or broadens your eyes to what really is going on out there every day in our world, and even in a small community. So, for me, these gentlemen got to see the scanner that we purchased a couple years ago, so that we make sure that we keep any paraphernalia out of the jail, which is pretty incredible. Commissioner Stevenson got to show us his hips.
They scanned me.
He got scanned to make sure he wasn't carrying anything illegal with him into the jail.
You couldn't even sneak a donut in that place if you wanted to.
Did you want to?
I tried.
He got out with the
He
cookie, though.
got out with
I got
granola
out
bar.
with one, but not in.
Anyway, it's just, something that's kind of out of sight, out of mind for the general public, and they don't really realize what we have to deal with, budgetary items, and what it takes to run that place.
I have a lot of respect for the people that work over there too, after seeing what goes on over there and stuff. Lots
So-
of respect for them.
Pretty enlightening, and I'll let you guys talk about that if you want to at all.
I mean, it gives you an insight to the backside of our community. Maybe that's the wrong term, backside, but the darker side of our community and some of the inmates that are out there, and what our officers have to deal with on a daily basis. And not just the sheriff's office, city police, and all of those, so.
That's all the law enforcement.
Yeah.
And even through the court system, when they're being taken into the room for their WebEx hearings, they still have to be moved, transported, and all of this has to take place. And then you move people in and out of the jail for the security purposes. So just so that everybody realizes, every time we talk about that, it was enlightening again, our annual review of the jail.
And the mental health issues that are facing us, we need to really go to work on that, because there's people sitting over there for 6 weeks, 2 months, that we can't get them any help because we don't have the availability for it.
And they don't really need to be in
And they
that
don't need to be in that situation. yeah.
incarceration for that. Anyway, that took about an hour and a half or so of our time yesterday. We then got back, we were able to discuss the proposed changes to the county handbook. A little bit more homework to be done on that, and then that'll come back in front of us on the September 7th meeting that we agreed to, and we'll be able to look at those revisions.
For the workshop meeting the day before also?
Correct.
Will we be having a workshop since that's a Labor Day
Oh,
on the 6th?
probably not.
I'll defer to you all on that.
Probably
I ain't
not.
scared.
Send my wife a memo on that if you have one for that day.
Now, if I start telling your wife everything you got to say, you're
I
gonna be in
will,
trouble.
I will say we won't have a meeting on that day. Shaq will, there were only a couple revisions that were really critical anyway. I
Yeah.
think the rest of them were pretty much just bringing it
Up to date.
kind of.
Let me ask you one more thing on that. In September, all our departments do their budget presentations. The commission had asked that this year that those department heads present on Monday as well as Tuesday, so you could go line by line, especially through the salaries that you're looking at adjusting. For those departments, which would be Public Works, it'd be Road and Bridge, Landfill, Noxious Weed, and Fairgrounds on September 7th. When would you like them to present their preliminary budget then?
I don't know if, well, since we don't have a workshop on the 6th, I think we could do the workshops on the following week. Is that gonna,
Well, they're supposed to present their budget the 7th.
would it hurt to push it back 1 week to the work session? So that we have more time to actually go through it?
Yeah, and then
they have
then
more
they can do
time?
their final presentation the first week in
Correct, because
October.
here,
That's
we
fine.
can't make decisions in a workshop.
Because you don't
We can
have
just
to approve the budget till the end of December anyway, so.
Correct.
Okay, I'll work with it
So I
that way.
would move them
Okay.
back. Are you guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, and that's kind of where we ended with that. Something else I was thinking of last night, and this may fall, Justin has already left, but where did we end up with the water line for the fairgrounds, Shaq? Did we ever get that RFP out? So we might discuss that a little bit further. I know that that was put into the capital outlay. Funding was put in there for that, but if we haven't gotten that RFP out, we should probably get it done and try and get that done at least hopefully by the end of the year.
Yeah.
To supply that sprinkler system for the fairgrounds. Okay. Anything else, gentlemen, that you have?
I don't have anything else.
No.
Okay. Well, then we'll go into our attorney's report. Ian?
I really don't have anything to add from last week. We're still waiting on court orders on all the cases that we discussed.
Okay.
And so, yeah, nothing to add.
All right. James doesn't have a report today. Shaq?
Sorry, turn my mic back on. The first thing I have for the commissioners is Heather Otter has sent over this morning the SEDS, the Community Economic Development Strategy, with the edits that we asked her to make for a signature. And those are normally approved by resolution. So I have a resolution ready for you to go to. Give me 1 second to pull that up.
For everybody also out there listening, these were, we defined these in a workshop a couple of weeks ago.
Correct.
We sat down and we went through it, and these were the edits that were made by us, and then now they're being added.
Correct. So the commissioners have gone line through all this already. So I have a resolution ready for the commissioners, and we would need a signature line on the spreadsheet.
I would move that we sign Resolution 12-2021 approving comprehensive economic development strategies for Region 9.
Second.
So it's been moved and seconded to accept and sign resolution number 12, 2021 for the CDAP program through Region 9. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then the economic development team and myself had a meeting with some influencers in the community Thursday evening, identifying what some of the strong points of Montezuma County are and some of the things that need to be addressed. We're going to be having some follow-up meetings regarding that. There was a lot of some not so surprising and some surprising things that came out of that meeting. One thing that stands out is a untapped potential for this community. You know, we have a large percentage of retirees that grew up here and have come back to retire here, or maybe were never here but decided to retire here. And it seems like nobody's tapping into the knowledge that they want to share. So I think that's going to be among our first priorities to start addressing, but that was positive. And I do want to say we had a room full of people that were extreme left, extreme right, and every point in between, and we were able to have a conversation about serious issues without anybody running over each other, without any feelings getting hurt or anything like that. So to all those that say that it can't be done and it can't be done in this community, I'd like to say it can be done. We did it, and we're going to continue to do it. But I will brief the commissioners more as we take actions on some of the items that came up.
Okay.
And then, of course, I was gone Friday through Monday. So Monday night, Rachel Marchbanks and I presented at the Dolores Town Board meeting and discussed where we're going with the Recovery and Resiliency Grant. The next step on that is going to be, that was a technical assistance grant. We've been assigned somebody to help us navigate moving forward and building resiliency. As we all know, our economy is a three-legged stool here. It's oil and gas, it's agriculture, and it's tourism. And oil and gas was severely damaged during COVID, and the current state and federal administration don't seem to want to let up the pressure on them, so that leg is in danger. Agriculture, of course, has been devastated by the ongoing drought, which also shows no sign of really letting up. And then tourism, which we want to be careful that we don't end up just becoming another Moab, because that's the only thing we've got. So everything's catering to tourists, and nobody who lives here can afford to make a living. So addressing some of those issues as a region. We are going to have a meeting Thursday that'll be kind of a kickoff meeting, and then we will be meeting monthly thereafter, trying to come up with strategies and resources to say, how do we diversify without totally changing the elements of the county that everybody loves. So we have now updated the Dolores County, we've updated the town of Dolores, and we'll be on the other municipal agendas fairly soon. So other than that, I have nothing to report.
Okay. Go to the commissioners. Joel.
It was pretty slow. I was out of pocket Thursday through Sunday. Yesterday we had our workshops and stuff. I've had a few calls this week and a little bit of reading and stuff this week, but not much.
Yeah, took a few calls, few people came in to visit, and other than that, went to the Cattleman's Barbecue Saturday night. Was well attended, talked to a few people about some problems. One concern was the fence lines on the National Forest being eat up by the Forest Service contractors. So we'll have some questions for them.
Okay. Let's see, Wednesday I met with the BLM, looking at some disposal properties that they are looking at right now. Came back, did a 4-H extension video with Miss Jeters. Moved on into Thursday. We had our actually party in the park, which is the first one I was able to attend. I think they've had 2 prior to this.
Third Thursday?
And they'll have, the
Yeah.
third Thursday party in the park, and I think it goes through September, so they'll have one more before it ends up for the season. If you guys haven't been there, or anybody out there hasn't been there to that, it's usually starts 5 p.m. and I think it goes till basically dark, so now about 8:30-ish. Just a good time, good time to get out, talk to people, and kind of see what's going on in your neighborhood and your community, and try to support some local people. Friday I was in class all day in Montrose. Was able to see the brand new fresh snow on the mountains as I topped the ridge there coming into Telluride. It was actually looked pretty dang good. Went over all of our legislative overview for 2022 with the CCI staff. I'll share with the other commissioners of what we went over. And then we also had a Division of Fire Prevention and Control, Mike Morgan, who was there, who gave a presentation on how they've been actively using all the tools in the toolbox this year to get fires put out quickly, and specifically within the first 24 hours. All the resources or the toolbox is free to the communities because they want them extinguished quickly so that they don't grow into something that's like we had last year, and we already have some going on this year. Saturday night attended obviously the picnic for the cattlemen's. Was able to give a briefing there over the redistricting, which was well received. And then went to the Dolores Town Board last night with Shak and Rachel, and would like to do some more education or presentation to them at our next meeting that we have with them next Monday morning on 30/30, and we'll be putting together something like that through our staff to present to those agencies. And that is all I have. So, anything else, gentlemen? If not, we will
We're done.
We'll go
adjourn
find-
this meeting, and,
Go find something to do,
all right.
then we'll come back.
We're done. All right.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
ready to adjourn?
Yeah.
Okay. Motion to adjourn this meeting.
Seconded.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to adjourn the August 24th meeting, 2021. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.